Hello everyone, and how's it going? Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my videos. And today I want to draw from my personal experiences and behavior to hash out some advice for new drivers. For those of you who are already drivers, maybe you guys will find what I have to say interesting, but here it goes. And the very first thing I'd like to talk about is a set of rules that I like to follow. And this set of rules govern what makes a good driver, in my opinion. So what makes a good driver? Number one, he or she is safe. Number two, a good driver takes comfort into consideration. Number three, a good driver is expedient. And that is in a very specific priority. So let me explain. A good driver is safe. That's number one. Very important. You want you, your car, and your passengers to get from point A to point B in one piece and without dying. So that is number one. Number two is comfort. Comfort is... that wasn't comfortable. Comfort is the second most important thing, because a driver shouldn't slam on the brakes and then slam on the gas and then weave left and weave right. This also factors in with safety, you know. A good driver is smooth, fluid, you know. Puts the passengers in the car and everybody in the surrounding area at ease, and is also safe. And finally, the most important thing is expediency. You don't want to be the guy that goes 10 miles per hour in a 45 zone. And you don't want to be the guy who everybody knows is slow as shit, drives like a grandma, can't count on you for being anywhere on time, and so on. And all three together, in that specific priority, build what I think is a good driver. Another piece of advice that I have is try not to use your horn so much, or train yourself not to really use your horn. Once again, this is a personal thing. One, it's polite, okay? You don't want to use your horn when somebody's at a red light and turns green and sits. Just flash your high beams. If they still don't move, then honk the horn, okay? See, because sometimes using the horn could be dangerous. For example, let's say somebody is cutting across the road, okay? If I slam on the horn, three things might happen. A, nothing will happen. B, the person might freak out and slam on the brakes. Or C, the person might freak out and actually speed up, okay? And this is dangerous because it might actually make the situation worse for you if you're trying to avoid an emergency type situation. So in my opinion, it's better not to use the horn and let things play out the way they do. So this way, things that are happening are consistent and you can react accordingly. Additionally, honking the horn may create an unpleasant scenario involving road rage. And besides that, honking the horn can sometimes put you in a situation far worse than you want it to be. Okay, suppose somebody cuts you off and compromises your braking distance, and you slam on the horn, and this person gets pissed at you and slams on the brakes, and you rear-end him. Congratulations, you rear-ended somebody. Why weren't you maintaining a safe distance? Okay? So in short, try to train yourself not to use the horn. It might sound like a silly thing, but it'll save you from road rage. It'll save you from any spontaneous changes in somebody's behavior. And in general, it's nice to be quiet in the neighborhood if people are trying to sleep and so on and so forth. Additionally, if honking the horn becomes your priority, you know, that takes away valuable reaction time. Because for example, you could be driving, something goes down, you slam on the horn and then you try to move out the way. Well, you lost that second or two slamming the horn, you know. So I do use the horn, but very rarely, and that's for scenarios where somebody really fucked up and I'm really pissed, or to avoid an emergency scenario where I don't really have a way out, or as a last-ditch effort to warn everybody to brace for impact. Okay? In some states, it's illegal to use the horn unnecessarily. So if you're going from state to state and you're used to honking your horn for everything, well, that could land you a ticket, you know? So there's that as well. Next piece of advice is get comfortable to holding the steering wheel with your hands at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. On a split-second notice, this allows you to have full control of the steering wheel at any given point in time. Whereas with one hand, you know, you might get a little messed up. And another piece of advice is to seat yourself comfortably but accordingly in the car. This is a personal preference, but I seat myself just far enough away from the steering wheel so that my arms are outstretched so that I can comfortably hold the wheel at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, but also not far enough so that I have straight arms. So my elbows are ever so slightly bent, and I'm not applying any pressure to the wheel, I'm just comfortably holding it. With the idea being, if for whatever the hell reason you lose traction, you push yourself into the seat and stay with the car, as opposed to initially being thrown around and potentially screwing things up more. Additionally, I would suggest that you get a dashboard camera. On top of that, get the right dashboard camera, okay? There are dashboard cameras that just plain regular record video, and there are dashboard cameras that have G sensors, GPS, speed readings, and so on and so forth. For everyday use, get a regular dashboard camera. If you're like a commercial driver with the van that has like a 1-800 number on the back, 1-800 how's my driving eat shit, blah blah blah, then you want the dashboard camera with the GPS and the speed reading and all that fun stuff. The thing is, regular everyday driving, you're minding your own business, let's say, and somebody pulls out in front of you and you T-bone him, right? If you had just a plain dashboard camera, it would show somebody pulls out and you T-bone him, so he's at fault. But if you had a dashboard camera with the speed fucking reading thing, and it shows that you were going 45 in a 35, suddenly that opens up the debate that you were speeding, and that could incriminate you, even though you technically didn't create the scenario that led to the accident. Therefore, you're not at fault, but hey, you were speeding, you know. On the other hand, if you were like a truck driver or a van driver, it's good to have the dashboard camera with the speed reading and everything, because if somebody calls your company to report you saying you're a speeding lunatic, you have a dashboard camera that will show footage you are in the right lane on Interstate 280, exactly where the boss expected you to be, traveling at 60 miles per hour in a 55 zone, and the person calling was just some idiot, and you shouldn't lose your job over that. You know what I'm saying? Also, I would suggest you pick a car to suit your needs properly. The thing is, what you should get is a car that fits you like a glove. Because cars are like business suits, okay? There's one for every personality. So you should get one that you really feel a bond with, will really respect, something that you can work on. You should get, if you can, you should get a used car, so that if something happens, it's not a big deal. Something that you could learn on. But people's idea of a safe car is a slow car, generally speaking. And slow cars and junk cars are what people generally go to for so inevitably slow cars and beaters become what people want as their first car, and that's not always the best thing. Okay, so you know, you need a car that fits your needs first of all. Do you want an off-road vehicle? Do you want a grocery getter? Okay, take that into consideration. Make sure it fits your personality, something that you can respect and work on, but of course something that's not expensive so that if you lose it, It's not a big deal. And also, I would recommend something that isn't pathetically weak, but at the same time, something that isn't ridiculously overpowered. Okay? You don't want something that will probably get you killed by putting your gas down in the accelerator, spinning out and slamming into a tree or anything like that. And you most certainly don't want something that will let you down when you need to speed up to avoid something and it just wimps out, you know. So slow doesn't always mean safe, but don't fucking get excited and buy a fucking rocket ship made by NASA, okay? Another piece of advice: suppose you're on a one-way road and you want to turn left or right. Be sure to check your mirrors, because every now and then you get a cyclist. And also, don't feel bad for animals, okay? Granted, if you have the ability to avoid running over or hitting an animal, take that, okay? Don't kill the poor creature needlessly. But sometimes an animal will just jump out in front of you and there's little that you can do about it, okay? Instead of swerving and potentially slamming into a tree and killing yourself, or swerving and potentially killing a pedestrian, I've heard from other drivers that if something is smaller than a cat, or cat-sized or smaller, it's fairly okay to hit. So, you know, don't sweat over it. Potentially save your life, your passengers' lives, surrounding people's lives, and hit the poor thing. Sometimes you'll be driving, you'll hit a bird. I'm told that if a bird gets hit by a car, it means it was old or diseased, or perhaps wanting to commit suicide. Birds are smart that way, believe it or not. Some New York City pigeons will actually sometimes intentionally go under cars, but you get the idea, you know. It's additionally, I'm told that if you have a bird strike and it doesn't leave blood, then that it just bounced off and that everything is fine. Apparently birds are very lightweight, so if there's no blood, chances are it just bounced off and everything is okay. Another piece of advice is that you shouldn't get fatigued, or you should try to avoid fatigue. It is inevitable that you will drive with a migraine, maybe, or maybe something happens and enrages you. Human beings are imperfect things, and you know, this is a hard thing to do, but if you can, try to calm it down. Maybe pull over for a second, maybe text somebody about how stupid somebody is when you pulled over, you know, or just slow down, take it easy. You will avoid a lot of stupid things and a lot of stupid scenarios if you don't allow yourself to get fatigued. Just take it easy, be cool, just be cool, you know. You'll be okay. Be friendly, be neighborly, if you can, which is not always possible, but you gotta try. And another piece of advice is don't get freaked out, okay? When you drive a lot of fucked up shit happens, okay? This could be anything. Maybe you accidentally got a speed camera photo or a bus lane photo and you just feel put off from driving, okay? Maybe you made some slight mistake and somebody honked the shit out of you and you feel guilty and sad, you know, and that puts you in a mood where you don't feel like driving. Or maybe you almost crashed with something like a tree or something and you're all fucking shaken up, you know? Or maybe you almost had a head-on collision, you know, with some asshole and you're all shaken up and everything and you feel terrible. Or maybe you're driving by and you see somebody who crashed and, you know, the fire department is pulling out a transmission that was impaled in a dead guy's gut. Like, stupid shit, graphic shit, you know, sad shit. You'll see it all when you're driving. And, you know, maybe I've never gotten into an accident, so I don't know, but I imagine if you crash, you feel like shit. Okay? And my piece of advice is, shit happens. It's a statistic. Okay? There's so many people on the roads. What you need to do is be okay with it. Get in the car and drive again. And in a day or so, maybe the next day, maybe in a couple hours, you'll be feeling fine again. Okay? Keep driving. Calm yourself down. Take a joyride, okay, when you get home. Sometimes you sit down at home and you're like, what the fuck just happened, and you don't feel like driving. Get in the car and go for a joyride. Force yourself, okay? Otherwise, you'll probably never be able to do it again sometimes. That's what I've heard from ex-drivers, okay? The thing is, shit happening is a statistic. This is also why insurance is more expensive for those of you who drive more, you know? Imagine bad luck and shitty things being two people that run around town and fuck shit up, okay? And there's so many people on the road, so you might never see bad luck and whatever, but one day eventually they're gonna see you and they're gonna try to fuck you up, okay? It's a thing that just happens, and it's just a question of being there with the right scenario happening, okay? It does, you know, you trying to pass somebody and getting a speeding ticket through a camera you didn't see, you know, it feels like shit, but don't worry about it, you know. You seeing somebody crash and kill themselves, it happens. Deep breath, you know, it's okay. Also, try to be observant. See how cars drive, you know. There's like hundreds of types of drivers, okay? With their own like little characters and characteristics and so on and so forth. And you know, I can't name the types of drivers that there are, but in your mind you begin to apply a label to each type of driver. And it gets to a point where eventually you'll look at a car and you could read its body language, and you can predict what it's going to do based on, you know, how he's been driving so far, what he's about to do, and so on and so forth, okay? So pay attention and think ahead. So to sum it all up, keep the 3 important points in mind. Try not to be the horn warrior of justice, okay? Try not to get angry, maintain a cool head, you know. Don't get discouraged. Get a dashboard camera, get the right dashboard camera. Keep both hands on the wheel, like here, okay? Not always comfortable, not always the best, you know, but, you know, if you generally keep your hands on the wheel, that's fantastic. Don't get fatigued, relax, take it easy, no sweat, everything's okay. Get a car that won't kill you, but get a car that won't fail you either, that won't be too slow. Get a car that you respect, get a car that represents you. Make sure it's something you won't mind working on and learning on. Take it easy, be safe. Driving should be a pleasant experience, you know? So thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope the stuff that I just rambled on about made sense, okay? So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful one.